We are always talking about lifting weights, strength training, building muscle. My last probably like 5 or so videos have been about me going through an actual bulk process to put on even more muscle. And I wanted to kind of go into some explanation on why we're so big on strength training and muscle building. We're not just, these muscle-bound bodybuilders that can't get enough muscle, so it's not just that. There are so many benefits to strength training and building muscle that I really want to stress why we think is so important. So I just want to come to you guys and explain a few things. Some you may know, some you may not know, and even if you are just die-hard cardio bunny and you know that no matter what anybody tells you, you are still going to do cardio, that is fine. I just ask you to just at least stick it out with me through this video so that you can understand the benefits of strength training and why you should want to train. Okay, so first there's, some of the obvious benefits of, the strength training will affect the way that you look. It's not just about, having a muscular build. What a lot of people don't realize is that no matter what look you want, probably 98% of the time, strength training can help you to get that. So it doesn't really matter if you want an ultra ripped physique or if you just want, a lean physique. Maybe you don't necessarily want like muscle definition. It really doesn't matter, because no matter what physique you are after, strength training and building muscle will help you to accomplish that. Let's say you want obviously if you want a bodybuilder physique, you would want to strength train. If you want the ripped, lean, cut type physique, you would want to strength train. Say you want to, you just say, I want to look how I did in high school. You would still want to strength train for that. Even if, you say, well, in high school, I was just, my skin was tight, I was just thin. Maybe you didn't have a six-pack. Maybe you just had, just everything was just really lean and you just want to look younger. That would still require muscle. And the reason being is because we have more muscle naturally when we're younger. So even if you are 30, but you want to look the way that you did in high school, you will still benefit from strength training because of the fact that you have a low amount of muscle as you age, because we start off with a pretty high amount and then we can add to that as as time progresses, we can build more. But if not, you hit kind of your peak in your 20s and 30s and that muscle starts to break down. So at 30, even if you weigh the exact same as you did at 20, you start to have less muscle mass. So as you're losing muscle mass, the way that you look is going to change. The reason that you had that look of when you were younger, of just not a lot of loose skin or maybe excess fat, is because of the muscle tone that you have. So it's not even about just getting back to that weight. Just to look more youthful, you would want to have more muscle, because the youth naturally have more muscle. And an example of that would be, if you have teenagers, especially boys, they go through a phase where they hit, maybe that 13, 14, 15-year-old mark. And I know, like, for my boy, and I remember my brother growing up, they start, like, cutting off the sleeves to all of their shirts. They're wearing cut off everything because they were just so impressed with how ripped they are. And I mean, they're not even lifting weights. They just naturally have more muscle. So as they begin to grow and they hit that stage of puberty and, there's this muscle mass there, they see it and they're impressed with it. And even the girls who aren't necessarily, super ripped, but you just have that lean look when you're younger, it's because of the amount of muscle mass you have. So just for a youthful look, you would want to have more muscle. Another reason other than being lean and tight and looking youthful, is obviously that it increases your metabolism. That's something that we always stress. The more muscle mass you have, the higher your metabolism is. The muscle is what keeps your metabolism higher, which again is what contributes to the more youthful look. When we're younger, we have a higher metabolism. As we get older, we're more sedentary, we are losing muscle mass, so our metabolism is decreasing. And a lot of times we just associate that with age when it's associated with a sedentary lifestyle and loss of muscle mass. So a way to combat that is obviously with strength training and building more muscle. So you want to be able to keep your metabolism higher, build more muscle as your body is trying to lose that muscle, so at least you can keep it steady. Obviously, if you build more, then you can increase your metabolism even further. So that's another point. Your muscle also protects your bones. When your muscle begins to shrink around those bones, it becomes a very painful thing. It's called muscle atrophy, and those who have experienced it know it's not pleasant. So you don't want to not counteract that muscle loss that begins to happen as we age. And as we get older, you know, right around when we start hitting the middle age, we start losing about 1% of our muscle mass per year. And that is why, you know, we'll look at, you know, some of our grandparents, you know, as they age, how they start to look more and more frail. They start kind of shrinking, their posture is different. You know, there's so many things that muscle will help with keeping that bone structure in place and helping to build stronger bones when you're weight training. So you want to be able to have more muscle mass, but also a higher bone mass, which is contributed to by the strength training. So building healthier muscles equals healthier bones. And as we're aging and we're going through osteoporosis, and ladies, we're hitting menopause, which puts us at even a higher level of bone loss. We want to protect that as much as possible because our risk of osteoporosis is so high as we hit menopause and beyond. We're going to be in even more trouble than the guys because of the fact that we're starting off in the deficit and then we're just going even further. We already naturally carry less muscle mass than men do, and then we hit menopause and we have to deal with bone loss. So because we're already behind, this is kind of a way to get ahead of the game, is by trying to build more muscle and keep as much muscle as possible. You don't have to worry about getting overly bulky because it takes so much before you can get that far that you can just go and go and go and go and go and then stop if you ever reach a point that you're too muscular. But that point is going to be really far away. So your best bet is to strive to get and or maintain as much muscle as possible. Another thing about strength training that people don't realize, cardio is often, you know, the big guns that you pull out as far as heart health. And it's known that cardio can keep your body healthy. But what a lot of people don't realize is that so can strength training. Strength training also helps your heart muscle for the same way that it helps every other muscle, because your heart is actually a muscle. So when you strength train, for instance, if you're training your bicep, you train with a heavy weight, it works that muscle, it tears that muscle, and then the muscle repairs bigger and stronger. So because of this, when you're strength training, it does the same thing for your heart. This is different from endurance, because with cardio and endurance type exercises, endurance makes your heart more efficient at pumping. But strength training results in a stronger heart overall. So do not discount strength training in favor of cardio because of the fact that, oh, well, I need, you know, to work out my heart, and, you know, cardio is good for my heart. Yes, cardio is good for your heart, but you have to remember there's always going to be a difference between endurance and strength. Endurance is how well or how long something can perform, like your muscle, and then strength is obviously how strong it is. So strength training leads to a stronger heart. Endurance training leads to a efficient heart. So you need the combination of the two. You don't just want to have one or the other, or say I only need cardio for heart reasons. Building muscle mass will benefit your body in so many more ways than just looking like a bodybuilder. So I really, really encourage even the cardio bunny in you to really consider adding strength training if you're not already, and if you are, to really make sure to keep that a focus of your workouts. You want to train hard, you want to build muscle, not just endurance train with your weights either. You want to cycle through your workouts, have some muscle building phases in there, because muscle is so important. I hope that maybe that changed a few minds of someone who didn't think you should strength train, but literally everybody and their mama should strength train.